If you've ever felt distracted while you're doing crossing over work, like you can't seem to hold your focus, there's a reason for that. Let's go over it today. So here's a little tidbit that I think is very helpful to be aware of when you do crossing over work. When you do crossing over work, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you're going to get very distracted. You're going to have a very hard time focusing on what you're trying to do. You will lose track of your thought. You will be, halfway through a sentence and then you get distracted. This happens, not all the time again, but it happens every now and then. And let's go over why that is and what you can do about it. Now, as a medium, I did readings, professional readings for years. And in a professional mediumship reading, what you're doing is you're connecting with a loved one who is on the other side, who has already crossed over in spirit form. All of my reading, I can't recall one time doing readings. I did them for like 15 years. Can't recall one time where in the middle of connecting with a loved one, I completely lost track of what was happening or where I was at or got completely distracted. I don't recall that happening, but I do recall that happening quite frequently doing crossing over work and doing spiritual clearings. Again, not all the time, but many times I would be at someone's home and I would locate a spirit that is stuck, maybe causing some problems, irritability, whatever, and I would work with them to cross over and I would connect with the spirit, try to start a conversation or send love or energy or imagine, some white light going around them. I would do my job crossing over work. And I would just all of a sudden completely lose track of what I was doing. Sometimes mid sentence, I would just be utterly distracted. And after a while, I started to realize this. I'm like, wow, when I do spiritual clearings, when I do crossing over work, occasionally I just completely lose track of where I am in the middle of doing the work. But when I do mediumship readings for, to connect with loved ones on the other side, I don't ever really lose that focus. I don't get distracted. So what's going on here? And it didn't take long for me to figure it out. It only happened a few times early on when I was doing crossing over work that I finally said, okay, this is odd. What's going on? And I started to talk to my guide and I started to really pay attention when these moments were happening. What would happen initially is I would connect with a spirit that was stuck, do whatever work I needed to do to help them cross over, whether it's wrap them in white light, ask them about their path or their history, or kind of try to get them to think about something else so they could start moving in their process. That kind of people mover automatic process it is to cross over to the other side. And I would be in the flow of it, and then all of a sudden completely lose track of what I was doing or saying. And when I lost track, when I got distracted, I would instantly look inward within myself. What's going on? What am I doing that I'm just lost? Why am I letting myself like think about my grocery list right now or think about, all the things I have to do tomorrow? Why am I doing that at a crossing over situation? And after this happened a few times, I was like, all right, there's something to it. There's something to it. I need to explore. I talked to my guide. He said, what I need you to do when that happens is look around, look outside, what's going on outside of your own energy field. And I said, oh, okay, I'll try that. It's wonderful. So the next time it happened, I caught myself going, Bo, why are you thinking about your shopping list again? And I went, wait, my guide told me to look outside. So I turned my focus back to the energetic situation I was dealing with, which was a spirit that needed to be crossed over. And I realized that halfway through a sentence that I was saying to the spirit to help, unstick them really so they could start moving again, it was the spirit that distracted me. And shifted my energy and shifted my attention. And I realized it's because they don't want to cross over. So when you're dealing with spirits who are stuck and don't want to cross over, because that happens, you should go through go through this series and listen to some of the stories. It happens a lot. It really does. And many times there are spirits that just need that extra boost of love, but occasionally you're going to run into someone that is stubborn, that's dug their heels in, that does not want to cross over to the other side for a plethora of reasons. And I talk about all those reasons in the Crossing Over course. And again, there's so many of them, but when you come across someone like that, I realized, okay, they don't want this to work. If they did, they probably could have crossed. So I'm stepping into their energetic space. I mean, I'm not letting my energy step into their energetic space, but I'm stepping into where this is all happening for them. And I'm starting the process of helping them to cross over something they don't want to do. And on occasion, stubborn, individuals that are in the in between that don't want to move, on occasion, they're energetically distracting me. The distractions happen a lot of different ways. But once I started to look outside of my energetic field, I realized that's what's happening. They are distracting me. They're trying to get me to not help them. Now, I've had things happen in all of those years, all these years of doing crossing over work. I've had very interesting things happen. The car pretends to, I say this, pretends, I didn't know at the time, but I'm driving to someone's home to cross someone over and I start having engine trouble. And turns out there was nothing wrong with the car. And it turns out that energetically, the spirit knew, okay, this person's coming here to kind of end my stuck party, to help me start moving again, and I don't want to move forward. I want to remain stuck. So I GCP the minute I know I'm going to go do a clearing. I GCP before I think or start anything, and ground clear protect, make sure I'm in a good space, my energy is protected. And then upon going into the clearing, I will GCP again. If I don't feel as distracted anymore, because over the years I've gotten really, really good at remembering GCP, my energy, your energy's out here. Now we have to deal with your energy and help you to cross over. But so I don't get distracted as much. But when it does happen, because occasionally it still happen, where I'll be like wrapping the person up with, I'll imagine like a white ribbon of light wrapping around them to really, infuse them with unconditional love in hopes that they can release their fear and start to cross over to the other side. And I get halfway through wrapping them, and then all of a sudden I've completely forgot what I'm doing. It's like, okay, I had an intent going there and I was helping, and now I completely forgot what I'm doing. And it's not a feeling of, no, 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 don't do that. That's not what you're supposed to do. That typically isn't the feeling. When it comes to crossing over work, it's very rare that you're going to come across a situation that you get stopped, because if your intention is pure, if you love, if you want to honor, the tradition and the process of somebody going home again to the other side, all of your intentions are good. So it's not like they're going to stop you and judge you on your process. All of your process is pretty much based in love. So you're good to go. You're really not going to have that situation happen. So when you're halfway through your process and all of a sudden you completely forget what you're doing, take a moment to take another look at that spirit who's stuck. Are they stubborn enough? Are they pushing back enough that they just don't want you to proceed? They want to stay stuck with it. No, 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 no. Take a moment to look at that, because, it happens. It happens. And I don't think a lot of people talk about that distract issue that happens in doing crossing over work. And many times people don't even realize that's what's happening. They step into a situation, they're focused, they start sending love, they start, they set their intent to help this individual. And then all of a sudden, what am I doing? Oh, and they think it's them allowing themselves to be distracted. So keep in mind that an energy, a spirit that is in the in between, is in essence an energetic body, and energetic bodies can affect other energy, beings. So if you're working hard, you're really focused, and then all of a sudden you completely lose track of what you were doing, take a look around again, reset, GCP, reset, take a look around and see what's happening. You just might see a spirit, arms crossed, heels dug into the sand. I don't want to move. So I'm going to try to push your attention away from me. It's, I'm trying to block that loving intent coming my way because I don't want to fix the situation. GCP, reset your intent. You'll be just fine. At some point, you'll be able to complete the job and complete the work and help this individual. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more time and love, but you got this. You can do this. And even though they're stubborn, because we've all been stubborn, we've all had our days, right? And sometimes they're being stubborn because they're scared. And people legit can have those feelings. They're scared of where they're headed, or there's a whole plethora, like I said, I teach it in the crossing over course. There's a whole plethora of reasons why they're being stubborn, why they're distracting you, so you stop helping them. Just keep loving them, keep remembering that they are someone's mom, someone's dad, someone's son, someone's brother, someone's friend, someone's teacher, someone's neighbor, right? They're cared about. They are part of the whole process. They're connected. They're part of source, and they do deserve to go home to the other side, because no matter what they've done, no matter what they're scared of, loving them is going to always be the best choice, because ghosts are people too.